Welcome to WRSJ Real Talk, where we update you on the latest news. Good morning, America, on this beautiful Saturday. My name is Gerard.
And I'm Santiago with breaking news today on meth addiction. When people who abuse methamphetamine or meth take the step to withdraw, they tend to present some symptoms such as depression, anxiety, fatigue, and intense craving for the drug, anger, aggression. They sweat, they have headaches, fever, and paranoia. Individuals who abuse this drug, they don't know that using that drug repeatedly will damage their brain and body functions. For people who has taken the drug for a long time and has quit using it, will exhibit symptoms that includes confusion, significant anxiety, insomnia, mood disturbances, and violent behavior. They also display psychotic features such as paranoia, visual and auditory hallucinations, and they also become delusional. Healthcare professionals report that working with meth patients are one of the most difficult, unpleasant, and unrewarding of patient types out of all patients that are getting treated from drugs. Also, public views meth users as dangerous, unpredictable, difficult to communicate. According to Bruce Link, labeling a person a drug addict triggers powerful expectations of rejection that in turn erode confidence, disrupt social interactions, and impair social and occupational functioning. It also impacts personal stigma that has been associated with a variety of negative outcomes, which includes depression, low self-esteem, delays in seeking medical attention, loss of family friendship, employment, housing ties, sexual intimacy problems, and communication difficulties. Many meth users manage stigma by being secretive or selective disclosure. As good method in seeking social support from sympathetic and or fellow drug user, as well as healthcare professionals.
Reporting live from Fort Pierce, here's Ronnie with an update on meth addiction and what some professionals have to say.
Reporting live from Fort Pierce, this is Ronnie, here to interview a drug law enforcement officer, registered nurse, and a drug counselor.
Hello, thank you for interviewing with us today. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Kathy, and I'm a registered nurse. I've worked in the field since 1982. Worked in several different areas in my nursing career.
Well, that's good. So you have definitely been around and seen, injuries, but you've also seen people on drugs too.
Oh,
so you're
absolutely.
a perfect candidate for this. One of the questions is, why do you think people use meth?
Well, like any addict, meth is a drug. Once they get a hold of it, it's addictive, and they're escaping reality. And especially right now, in the last few years, there's been a lot going on with our world, and escaping reality is probably one of the main reasons.
I would have to agree with that, especially within the last year. What drug do you think people started out with before meth? Do you think meth was their first choice, or do you think they might have tried?
I kind of feel like a meth user has probably tried other medications, but I don't know other drugs out there on the street. But the amphetamine effect of meth, they probably had tried some other sort of amphetamine, and then they realized how easy it was to access the meth and even make it themselves.
Okay. How easy do you think it is to obtain meth?
I don't have experience in that, but just
from what you've seen in the hospitals.
I've seen probably more meth addicts in the last, maybe 10 years than I've seen any other kind of
Really?
drug addict.
Oh my goodness. Do you think society judges meth users?
Society judges everyone. But meth user, probably because they may look at it like they're a danger to their friends or family, because they're making these these labs to cook these the methamphetamine in, and as well they're desperate a lot of times. Once you get addicted to that methamphetamine, you will do things, rob people, break into homes, whatever, or take advantage of people. So probably society looks at it like they're opportunists.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Really appreciate it.
Sure.
Hello. Can you please introduce yourself for this interview we are conducting?
My name is Ellen Enos, and I am a probation officer in this circuit, the 19th Circuit. I'm also certified by Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles to do substance abuse evaluations, make recommended counseling suggestions.
Thank you for taking your time out of your day to conduct this interview with us. A couple questions I'd like to go over. How easy is it to obtain meth in this area?
In our area, I think it's gotten harder to obtain meth. It was very prevalent. I guess about 2017 it started hitting this area very hard. Different counties or different ways. In our county, Martin County, St. Lucie County, the crackdowns have been immense. I understand it's a little bit more highly used still in Okeechobee County though. It's still a big problem there.
Okay. Why do you think people use meth?
Well, because it has been easy to get, and it's cheap. People use meth because first they want it. It's very highly addicting. It's very hard to treat. Methamphetamine use is probably one of the hardest drugs to recover from. There's no medicinal management, if you will, to get over methamphetamine like there is for opiate addiction. That's probably one of the reasons why.
In your opinion, what do you think people started out with that led them to going to meth?
That's really a funny question, because we were discussing earlier that it used to be that they said that marijuana was the gateway drug, but I recently read that more authorities are saying that nicotine is actually a gateway drug.
Is it?
That's some school of thought.
Okay, thank you for that. Is it the cost that drives people to use it?
Well, it's been cheap to get, but I really don't, in my personal opinion, I don't think that that's what drives people to use it. It's highly, highly addictive. I think that's what people.
Okay. In your opinion, how do you think we could stop the use of meth with users?
Well, I think the federal government and local agencies have done a really good job doing it. It's coming in from Mexico. From our area, it's coming in from Mexico. I really don't see more that they could do. I mean, there are some limited resources unless, the state gives more funding for it. But I think that we've done a very, very good job on slowing and stopping the use of methamphetamine.
Good, good. Last question. Do you think society judges people on using meth or meth users?
Absolutely. That's one of the, besides the stigma of addiction, of being a drug addict itself, we all see the videos about the meth heads and losing teeth and the noticeable differences in the skin and the aging process, and the crazy dancers in the middle of the street and things like that. So yeah, all that goes into, I think it's very stigmatized.
Okay. Thank you very much for doing this interview with me.
You're welcome.
Would you please be able to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Keith Stripling. I am currently a police officer with the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Actually, I started my career January 1st of 1990 with the Martin County Sheriff's Office, and I've worked for a couple of different agencies since then. I did retire from the Okeechobee County Sheriff's Office in December of 2016 and went back to work as a police officer a year later.
Oh, wow.
I'm a road patrol officer with the Seminole Police Department.
How easy have you seen it for users to obtain meth?
Well, just like with anything else, they more than likely have their line on their distributor. They know who they can get it from, where they can get it. So it's not that hard for them to get a hold of in all reality, as long as John down the street, who's a distributor, is out of jail, they know that they can go to him or he'll come to them, or they'll meet somewhere neutral and they can get it. So it's not hard for them to get it whatsoever.
Oh boy. So as long as somebody's making it, it's always going to be there.
Sure. As long as the demand's there, they're going to continue to make it. And as long as they continue to make it, the demand's going to be there. So it's a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next question, do you think it's the cost that drives people to use it more?
I don't know that it's so much cost, because in all reality, once they're hooked, they're going to do whatever they have to. I mean, if their supplier said that they wanted $100 versus $20, they're going to figure out a way to get that $100 because they've got to have that fix. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And often that's stealing from their family or stealing from their neighbor or stealing a car and trying to get it sold or something to that effect. If he sets the price, at $100, they're going to figure out a way to get $100 to get that hit.
So, but there just seems to be a lot more violence associated, not with just meth, but more of the harder drugs. I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Let's see. Just from, again, your experience and just what you've seen, how do you think we could stop it or try to slow it down?
It's tough, but in all reality, if you had additional enforcement, if there was some way, that the local law enforcement could add extra resources. Mm-hmm. But the problem is it's very spread out, I live in a rural area in Okeechobee, and we got meth heads at the end of our street,
Oh no.
Yeah. And and that's what I'm saying. It's not isolated to one area, with certain drugs, you might know that you can go to point A or point B because that's a hot spot for drugs. But with meth, it's pretty much spread out. And for the law enforcement to be everywhere all the time, it's just not feasible. So in all reality, the only thing that's going to fix the problem, they do DARE in school, to try to teach the kids to stay off of drugs. But again, that peer pressure, you can tell a kid and tell a kid and tell a kid, but if they succumb to that peer pressure, that's a tough thing. But education and additional enforcement, I think, is probably going to be the way to rid the community of it.
Thank you. Last question. Do you think society judges people or users that do meth?
Absolutely. It's been my experience in the past. People don't like it. The people that are not using don't want it around them. Don't want the people that are using around them for the most part, because they know that the possibility is there that, their stuff could come up missing, or they might break into their car or whatever. And the people that I know, like I said, the ones that don't use, are very aware of the effects that it has on that individual and what it could prompt them to do. And the non-users certainly try to stay away from those that use, for the most part.
Reporting live from Fort Pierce, this is Ronnie from WRSJ. Back to you, Gerard and Santiago.
Research in primate models has found that methamphetamine alters brain structures, including decision making, and impairs the ability to suppress habitual behaviors. Meth misuse has been shown to have negative effects on the microglial cells as well. These cells support the brain by defending the brain against infectious agents and removing damaged neurons. Damages of the brain can cause stroke, heart attack, and death. In 2018, the estimate was about 1.9 million Americans aged 12 or older used meth in the past year. The effects of meth can last anywhere from 8 to 24 hours, depending on the dosage. Detecting meth in a drug test can be done alone by urine, hair, blood, and oral fluids. Meth can also be detected by hair for up to 90 days after the last use. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for more meth updates after this message.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned to WRSJ Real Talk. I'm Santiago.
And I'm Gerard, back with breaking news on meth users.
If you know anyone who's suffering from drug addiction and needs help, please contact 211 to find what is best for you. Once again, I'm Santiago.
And I'm Gerard. From all of us, have a good day.
Audio Jungle.